God's new gold mine, the new federal K-12 scholarship tax credit, recently passed as part of the One Big Beautiful Bill, provides donors or anybody concerned with a great way to help kids find the narrow way. Brought to you by My Church SGO. Please visit mychurchsgo.org. A new provision in the recently passed One Big Beautiful Bill gives all taxpayers in America the chance to direct $1,700 of their tax liability, that's the amount of taxes you paid in over the year, to their choice of a K-12 scholarship granting organization. The way this works is the tax law designates $1,700 of the taxpayer's federal tax liability, then gives the taxpayer the choice. They can either pay it to the government or they can donate it to the K-12 scholarship fund of their choice. However, these K-12 scholarship funds have to be accredited in order to receive these tax reimbursable donations. The way this system works is donors donate $1,700 or up to $1,700 to an SGO of their choice. My Church SGO provides a donor platform where you can donate to the SGO of your choice if they are signed up with My Church SGO. The SGO then gives scholarships, so they pool all the money from donors and give scholarships to eligible students. The SGO gets to keep 10% for their administration costs. The students then use the scholarship money that they receive from the SGOs on things such as tuition, books, technology, and transportation for their preferred private school, in this case, a church school. The federal government then reimburses the donor up to $1,700 via reducing their federal tax liability. There are a couple of caveats here, such as you had to have paid in $1,700 in federal income taxes over the year. So this credit does not allow your tax liability to go negative. State opt-in. Part of this new law is that states can choose to opt in or not opt in to this credit. What does that mean? If your state opts in, for example, a donor in California, then the donor in California can donate their $1,700 to an SGO operating in Arizona or an SGO operating in California. Donors can choose to split their donation up between two different SGOs or three or more if they choose to. If the state does not opt in, the California donor can still donate up to $1,700 to an SGO operating in Arizona, but it cannot donate up to $1,700 to an SGO operating in California because SGOs will not be allowed to operate in California because California decided to opt out of this federal tax credit. Scholarships be used for. These scholarships can be used for things such as tuition, fees, or academic tutoring, expenses for room, board, and transportation, or expenses for the purchase of any computer technology or equipment. For an exhaustive list of the uses that these scholarship money can be used for, please see the federal Coverdell savings account regulations. Donation methods that donors will likely use when donating to SGOs. Option 1 is the paycheck deduction method. In the paycheck deduction method, an extra line is added to your paycheck withholdings for your donation to the scholarship granting organization or organizations of your choice. A corresponding reduction in your federal income tax withheld is also established. This way, the take-home pay for the donor remains the same. This is allowed because the donor is planning on using the $1,700 federal tax credit when filing their taxes at the end of the year. Therefore, they do not have to withhold as much money throughout the year. Look at how the weekly donation method would look. As you can see in the blue line, the donations to the SGO add up to $1,700, and there's an extra tax liability incurred because you actually reduced your federal income tax withholding. However, at the end of the year, when you utilize the tax credit, your extra taxes owed goes back to zero because you utilized the $1,700 tax credit. The lump sum. In this method, the donor makes a lump sum donation of up to $1,700 to the SGO or SGOs of their choice. At the end of the year, when they file their taxes, their tax refund check will be increased by $1,700, or the same amount they donated to the SGO, thereby reimbursing the donor. That would work. The green line is the extra taxes paid by the donor throughout the year, given that they are planning on utilizing the $1,700 tax credit. At the end of the year, the extra taxes paid goes to zero when you utilize the credit, and the donations to the SGO go up to $1,700. As you can see, this is a wash, meaning that these donations cost the donor $0 out of pocket because they are being reimbursed via their federal taxes. Of just how powerful this new program could be for you and your church. Given an example of a 600 family church with 1.2 taxpayers per family, taking into account some dual income households, an estimated participation rate of 35% of the church congregation, an estimate scholarship applicants of 60. That's a rough estimate. Some churches might be more, some churches might be less. And an average donation of $1,500, given that some people won't give all $1,700 to the church SGO that they could. That adds up to $5,670 per kid, or a grand total of $378,000 per year, every year. As you can see, this is a very powerful program for helping children, especially underprivileged children, attend church school. Donation timeline. This tax credit does not kick in until tax year 2027 and then currently continues indefinitely. So for the blue area, 2026, there will be no donations actually able to be received. However, you can still pledge to donate in 2027, thereby giving your church an indication that you intend to utilize this program and giving them a chance to plan. During the light green phase during 2027, the donor will give their donations, likely either on a weekly basis or a lump sum. If the donor gives a lump sum donation, they will be reimbursed here at the red dot when they file their taxes for year 2027, and that occurs on April 15th of 2028. If a donor utilized the weekly donation, they will see no change in their tax refund check because the tax credit will cancel out the donations that they gave throughout the year. Once again, remember, this is a tax credit. This takes away tax liability, not a deduction. A deduction reduces the amount of income that you can be taxed on. This actually says you paid in $1,700 in taxes. Nope, you can give that $1,700 that you would have had to pay in taxes to an SGO. How do I pledge to donate? To indicate that I intend to utilize this program and thereby give the people doing the good work of making all of these scholarships happen know that they can count on me. Please visit mychurchsgo.org and click Pledge to Donate. You can browse our list of churches to see which one you think deserves your donation the most, or go find your local church if they're already signed up. If they're not already signed up, it'd be a good idea to encourage them to do so. It's free, no obligation, and it definitely would help your church figure out what kind of participation they can plan on come 2027. Thank you, and have a great day.